My name is Katie. I work in Employee Benefits and Work Life here at Ithaca College, so that's part of the Office of Human Resources. We're going to talk today about how compensation is just not about your salary. You need to understand some of your benefits to understand the total package that you're receiving when you take a job offer, or you're considering job offers. Do you guys have any questions before we start? Because this program is really about you, what you guys want to know, so ask questions, raise your hand, stop me. I'm very informal about these things, so just shout out what you're thinking. All right? And if you can't hear me, like I said, you can move forward. I hear you. Okay, good. You just don't want to move forward either, do you? All right, so when you're considering your job offer, you need to consider the entire package. Are they offering you benefits? Are they offering you a salary position or a non-exempt position, hourly? That'll make a big difference if you're allowed to work overtime or not. Benefits make a big difference as well, obviously, because some employers may pay for some of your benefits, so that would factor into your overall compensation. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is just a little bit of a value, what you bring and what you should know. So what you're getting out of a job. You're obviously getting a career, right? You want to go somewhere. Where do you want to go? How is this going to help you get to where you want to be? Okay, you're getting work content. Is this work challenging? Is it fun? Is it something you want to do? You've got your affiliations, right? This is the culture you want to be in. Is this the place you want to be? You've got your pay, your salary. Is this enough to sustain where you want to live? Does it include any incentives? Do you get bonuses on a quarterly basis? Is there a pay structure based on your annual reviews? So do you get increases every year? Do you get them fiscal year? Do you get them on your anniversary? How does that work? Is there no incentive whatsoever? And then your benefits, which we're going to talk about mostly because that's what I know best. Health, retirement, time off, work arrangements, tuition remission. How many of you are looking to go for your master's later? Okay, how many of you want a job that pays for it? Everybody, right? It's something to think about. If you find a position that will pay for tuition or at least some expenses, that's a big chunk back to you that you need to factor in. Because if another place does it, it may be a big cost differential for you. Okay? So we're going to go over health insurances, other insurances, retirement, paid time off, and a whole bunch of fringe benefits, which are the fun stuff. Which I'm a lot better at because I do the work-life portion, right? So that's good. Okay. So medical, dental, vision. Apparently I have different fonts. Mine was prettier. It's not here, so sorry. Do they offer, is the first question, do they offer medical, dental, vision, hearing? These are just random insurances that may be offered. They do not have to offer you any of these by any means. Medical insurance is obviously number one. If you're not thinking about medical insurance, you should be, right? So what happens if you get sick? What happens? Yeah, right. You're shaking your head. How are you going to pay for that if you get sick if you don't have medical insurance? Okay. Are there other plans that you're covered under? How many are under 26 right now? Okay. So you'll be able to be covered under your parents' insurance if they want you to. It's another story. Up to age 26, right? So that's a cost savings to you unless you have to pay your parents for it, but you can do that. After that, what are you going to do, right? You have to have some sort of medical insurance, like you have to have car insurance, right? You do get fined if you don't have medical insurance now through ACA. Every year there is a fine. Without medical insurance, you do get fined, okay? Comes off your taxes at the end of the year. Fun. Government gets everything. How much did the employer pay for? It is true. How much did the employer pay for your benefits? Some employers will pay a portion of your total cost. So if your total cost for a plan is $10,000 a year, which is low for a medical insurance plan, some employers may pay $8,000 of that, which leaves you to pay $2,000 over the year. Some employers pay nothing towards your medical insurance, which leaves you to pay that whole $10,000 through the whole course of the year, right? So that definitely factors in. If you're getting a $40,000 salary, but you're paying total benefits, you're losing $10,000 right off the bat. So now you're only getting paid $30,000. Whereas if you paid $40,000 and you only pay $2,000, there's a big difference, right? So it's things to think about. Do they pay 75% of the total benefit? Here at Ithaca College, we pay, there's a split about 75-25. So the employees pay 25% of their benefits, we pay 75% of their cost. Okay? So it's things to ask like that when you are talking about medical, dental, vision, hearing. When does it start? It's a good question. Some plans won't start right away. It may be a 3-month lag time, maybe the first of the next month. There may be a different probationary period. You'll want to know when that starts. Do you have a question?
Yeah, once you get that 25% back as a reduction of taxable income? Of the paid, so...
Your portion is taxable.
For what?
For income.
But on your own premium stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the portion that you pay, you'll see it on the total taxable benefit at the end of the year is there on your W-2s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No?
No, go on.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so what types of plans are offered? There's many different plans that they can offer you. They can offer you HMOs, PPOs, high deductible plans. You'll want to know what those plans consist of and if they're appropriate for you. So we here at Ithaca College offer a point of service plan, which is a traditional plan that has co-pays, and it has a higher premium but lower deductibles, right? Do you guys all know what deductibles are? It's the amount of money you have to pay until your insurance kicks in, right? So there's always an upfront cost to your insurance. Some plans may have a $0 deductible. You're not going to find that with many employers anymore, okay? A high deductible plan is obviously a high deductible, so you're going to pay a lot more upfront before your plan kicks in. The lowest minimum standard for high deductible plans is $1,300, right? So you would have to put in $1,300 before your benefits kick in, so before your plan covers 90% of everything. Does that make sense? Okay. So you want to think about those. Do they work for you? How often do you go to the doctor? What are you going to the doctor for? Things like that. Who can be covered? Right now, you want to make sure it's yourself, obviously. Do you have a domestic partner, a spouse that needs to be covered, any children that need to be covered? You need to make sure that everybody that you want covered can be covered under a medical plan, dental plan, or vision and hearing plan. Okay? Some employers do not cover domestic partners. Now in New York State, with the marriage laws that have recently changed, it's typically just spouses, okay, and children. A lot of times employers won't cover your spouse if they have insurance elsewhere. So a lot of things to keep in mind there. And I already talked about, are you eligible for other plans, right? So if you're under 26, you're automatically eligible for your parents' health insurance right now, up until you turn 26. So once you turn 26, you have to be looking for something for yourself. Does that make sense? You guys got any questions? You're good? Okay. We're good? Okay. Life insurance, supplemental insurance, disability, and accident insurance. You guys familiar with all these or no? So life insurance, you pretty much, what it says, you know, if you pass away, the life insurance goes to a beneficiary. Some plans have a basic, or some employers have a basic plan, right? So they pay for the cost of that basic plan and give you life insurance at no cost to you. That's great. That's part of your salary compensation package, right? You're getting an additional $50,000 in life insurance should something happen to you, right? A good thing. What are your maximum benefits? So in terms of disability, if you can't work because you're medically disabled, what happens? Bless you. Right? Do they offer short-term disability? Is there a long-term disability plan? Short-term disability will cover you in New York State $170 a week. How many of you can live off of $170 a week? If you're frugal, it's good, but if you have a car payment, a mortgage, kids to raise, things like that, very hard. Groceries to buy. It's very hard to live off $170, so you're going to want to look for employers that offer a short-term disability plan above and beyond New York State's plan if you're working in New York State. Every state doesn't have to have a state disability plan. Some are better than others. Some are not. New Jersey is better than New York. California is better than New York state disability. Some of them are less. Okay, things to think about. Long-term disability would kick in if they have a plan if you are out of work longer than 26 weeks or 6 months. Okay? Yeah.
Do benefits work? So if you work in, let's say, New Jersey, but you live in New York, how complicated does that get with the type of benefits you get based on state laws? Do they look at more where you live or where you work?
You're taxed on where you work.
Okay.
I haven't worked out of state in a very long time, so I apologize. I'm not very versed in that one. Yeah, some states like New York and PA, they have like tax regulations that make it very easy. Other states don't so much, but yeah. In order to receive some life insurances, sometimes you need to complete what's called as evidence of insurability. So you would need to fill out a medical questionnaire, and they would determine if you would be eligible to have life insurance. So if you have a high-risk medical condition, you may be turned down for life insurance. It's something to think about if you want life insurance. Okay. How much coverage do you need? Right now, you probably don't need that much life insurance if you're looking for life insurance plans within your employers. If they have a basic plan, it's probably good enough for you guys now. You have to think about how much coverage you need. If you should die, who would acquire your debt? How much debt would that be? Who would pay that off? And how much money they need? Things like that. Okay. What's it cost to you? Life insurance at your age is cheap. It's usually age banded, so it'll be cents on the dollar on $1,000 for plans. As you get older, it goes up. So once you hit like 65, it's like $3 per thousand. Okay? So it's things to think about. If it's going to cost you nothing, you want to hold more, that's great. If you don't worry about it. Yeah.
And what do you mean when you say about $3 a thousand? Like the employer is giving you $1,000 and you pay $3? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so the life insurance companies have an age banding tier. So if you're in 20 to 25, it may be 20 cents per $1,000 worth of coverage. So if you had, I'm terrible at math, so I apologize, but if you had $2,000 worth of coverage, it would cost you 40 cents per month. Does that make sense? And as you get older, that $1,000 coverage is costs you more. So it would be like $3.50 for that $1,000. Okay. When are your benefits payable? So life insurance obviously is when you pass away. Supplemental life insurance is life insurance above and beyond any basic life insurance or on any dependents that you have. Okay? That would be payable in the event somebody else passes away. So your dependents or your spouse passes away, the supplemental would come back to you because it's your plan. Accident insurance, which is AD&D, it's accidental death or dismemberment, very morbid insurance. Should you pass away due to an accident, it would pay out on top of any life insurance. Okay? Should your spouse or you become dismembered due to an injury, it would pay out based on the severity of the injury. I know, it's terrible, right? Do you guys have questions on this stuff? Yeah.
So if the company don't cover the life insurance, does it mean you have to find yourself, like you?
If your company doesn't offer life insurance, it's a question for you, really. I mean, if you pass away, what would happen to your debt? Where would that go? Is somebody going to pay for that out of their pocket? Do you want a benefit like this to cover your debt if you pass away? So it's really up to you if you want to hold life insurance if they don't offer it.
So
Yeah.
this is optional.
It is optional. Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, some places will offer you a basic plan at no cost. And obviously, if the benefit costs you nothing, you want to take it. But if they offer it with, totally a premium that you would have to pay, weigh the cost. If it's only going to cost you about $20 a year, it's something to consider.
But for the medical one we mentioned earlier, if they don't cover it, you need to find yourself. Right?
You should, yes. Yeah, you always want to have medical insurance, that's for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. You have a question?
Do you recommend getting life insurance? Let's say you pay your student loans off in like 5 years and you're like 27. Do you think that you would still need life insurance if you don't have any debt at that point?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, you got to think about if you want to have a minimal amount of life insurance, at least to cover funeral expenses, that would probably be the best bet. Your funerals cost about $10,000 to $15,000. So if you are only looking at that, I would cost that. I know, it's terrible. The other option is accidental death and dismemberment. So at your age, how do you really think you'd pass away? Would it be due to an accident or an illness? So the accidental death and dismemberment insurance is usually a lot cheaper, and it'll still cover you in case of a death. Okay, those are good questions. Any other questions? Yeah.
I know you mentioned under 26, you're still eligible to your mom's,
Your parents.
Do you know how that works with Medicaid? It's still the same, and then you have to take this sort of insurance if your mom has that.
So if your parents have Medicaid,
Yeah.
you can still remain on that plan if you'd like to, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Retirement. I know it's early, but you really need to be thinking about saving for retirement. The sooner you start saving, the better it will be. In the end, you earn so much more money in the first portion of your career that it's so beneficial. If you can manage to not have that cash and put it into a retirement, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So when you're looking at employers, see what type of plans they offer, okay? Most nonprofits and universities will offer a 403B, okay? Most corporations will offer you a 401k. There's a lot of different variations of retirement plans. It's just a lot of different tax implications as well. Some companies still offer pensions. Very, very few offer a pension plan. All right. Stock options are always there. A lot of corporations that are, privately funded or privately traded, or publicly traded, I should say, will offer you stock options to buy into the company as well. Profit sharing. A lot of companies will do profit sharing as well, mainly corporations. Okay. So profit sharing is if the company does well, they'll put a chunk of money into your retirement for you based on how well they did in the year. Okay. Matching contributions. You want to see if they will match your contributions. So here at the college, if we put in 5% into our 403B, the college will put in 9% of our base salary. So it's a total of 14% into our retirement on an annual basis. Okay, not everybody does that. Some will match, 50% up to 3%. So if you put in 3, they'll put in 1.5. Some will match 100% up to 6%. If you put in 6, they'll put in 6. If you put in 10, they'll still only put in 6. So it's things to think about what you're going to get back from them. Okay? Fees involved. There's a lot of fees that are involved with retirement. If you pull your retirement out and before you retire, it is taxable, and you have a penalty that you pay on. Yeah. Stipulations, I actually don't know why I put that in there, so it's not exciting. Vesting is a big thing, a vesting schedule. So if you start contributing to the retirement, the money you put in is 100% vested, which means if you leave that company, you can take that money with you. The money the company puts in may be subject to a vesting schedule. So if you leave anywhere under 5 years, they can take all that money back. Possibly. It depends on their vesting schedule. Okay? So it may be a no vesting schedule, which means everything that is put into that account is yours if you leave. It could be 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. It could be, nothing is vested until 5 years. At 5 years, you're 60% vested. So 60% of the company money would come to you. And 40 would go back. After the next 3 years, it would be 75, things like that. So things to think about, because that money, if you're looking to look for another job after that one, you may lose money out of your retirement. So think about that. Yeah.
There's most companies, so let's say you leave on your own, they have investment policy, so they take whatever they put in, but if you get terminated, is it still the same policy for most places?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so your money is your money. If you put it in, you get to keep it no matter what.
Right.
Some have, different policies based on how you are left. If you get laid off, they might be different vesting schedules for you. Is there a waiting period? So sometimes there may be a waiting period for you to even contribute to a retirement. Check that out. Do you have to wait a year before you can contribute? Do you have to wait a year before they actually match anything, but you can contribute off the bat? I recommend you find the waiting period and contribute as soon as you're eligible. It makes a big difference. Questions on retirement? I feel like I'm going through this very quickly. Yeah.
What's the difference between a 401k and a 403b?
So 403bs can be held by nonprofit companies. Yeah. But in terms of like taxes,
I mean, yeah, exactly.
They're mostly the same in terms of retirement and how you can get them out. I don't know the tax difference between the two.
Okay.
Other than a corporation cannot hold a 403b. And an institution like us cannot hold a 401k. So it's mainly the classification of employer. Yeah. Sick time, vacation, holiday time, other time, personal time. Woohoo! This is always the fun stuff. So are you offered vacation time when you're looking at options for jobs? How much time are they going to give you? So do they give you 1 week vacation, 2 weeks vacation, 3 weeks vacation? Do they just give you paid time away? Paid time away is a chunk of time that you use for sick, personal, or vacation. Okay, it makes a big difference. Do you accrue your time, or do they do what I call as a time dump? So every payroll, do you accrue time into your vacation allotment, or do they give you a whole 3 weeks right off the bat, right? And you use it throughout the fiscal year. A lot of sick time, holiday time, any paid time away runs on a fiscal year, not a calendar year. So a lot of companies don't necessarily run their fiscal year as January to December. So you want to keep that in mind too. Okay? So do they offer rollover? Can you roll the time over at the end of the year? Vacation, does that roll over, or is it use it or lose it? Medical time, sick time. Do they offer holiday time? How much holiday time do they offer? You're going to find colleges and universities offer a lot more holiday time and paid time away in general than corporations. Corporations will generally give you about 25 days total time off, right? So you'll have to manage that for the year. Do you offer bereavement pay? So if somebody should pass away, do you have to use your vacation or sick time, or do they offer you time above and beyond those to attend funerals for family members? Okay, this is a lot of fun. So if you want to go on vacation and travel, you want to make sure you're getting paid, right? That's a good thing. Paid not to work, yes.
So what would be an example? So if you were given a certain amount of paid vacation per year, what would be like a decent amount of paid vacation, would you think?
It's going to vary. A lot of corporations, like I said, will give you paid time away. Many people are moving towards one bank of time that you allocate how you want. So 25 days a year is typical. So that's about right. If you're working 5 days a week, 25 is 5, right? 5 weeks of time. But again, that's vacation, medical, and personal time all rolled into one. It'll vary. Some will only just give you 3 weeks, so 15 days. And then as you're there for longer, they'll up that. So you could be there for the first 3 years and get 15 days a year, and then the next 3 years you'll get 20 days a year, and it'll go up, jump up the longer you're with a company. So it's things to think about. Like I'm going to give you more time off probably than any corporations. Nonprofits and smaller organizations will probably give you less time off. So if you're looking for a small, like American Heart Association, they're going to give you a lot less time off because they don't have the power to give you more. Okay, so it's all varying on the company. If they make a lot of money and they're a huge corporation, they probably give you a very fair amount of money for vacation.
The 25 you mentioned included the holidays, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so they could give you that chunk of money called just paid time away or paid time off, PTO, PTA, and it'll include every time off day in there, so you would just put that in yourself. Yeah. Yes.
Thinking about the distant future, but is there a standard for maternity leave in companies? Or is that something you have to, like, ask? And
No,
argue
there is
about?
not a standard. That's a good question. So in New York State and most states, maternity leave is covered under short-term disability. It's a typical 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the birth of how you have your child. Some plans, FMLA will cover up to 12 weeks, but it's unpaid currently. Okay, so FMLA allows you that time off, but it's only 12 weeks, right? So you would have to be able to fund at least half of that by yourself. You can't go another 6 weeks without a paycheck. Some corporations like Google have, I think, like a 6-month paid time off for you to take care of your child once it's born. It all depends on the company. There's no, other than FMLA, California has some regulations of paid leave, but most other states don't, unless it falls under short-term disability. Yeah. Good, yeah.
As you get promoted, do these benefits increase or it's usually the same? Or
It depends. So like I said, with the more length of service you have, a lot of times the longer you're there, the more vacation you'll get. Some folks, you know, if you're the president of our company, I'm sure you've all read the Ithaca, and you see the perks President Rashawn gets being a president. So there's differences in what your position is. Most of the time, yes, if you come in as like a director, they may give you more vacation off the bat. Okay, but in terms of paying for benefits, it's typically across the board. If the company says they pay 75%, they'll pay 75% for everybody. Yeah.
Are these contributions that you might pay as an employee coming out of your gross salary that they give you, or something that comes out of your salary?
No, it comes out of your gross salary. Yeah, it comes out of payroll deductions.
Before tax
Yes.
or after?
Most of them are before tax. Life insurance would depend on the amount of life insurance you hold. Anything under $50,000 is before tax. Anything after $50,000 is pre-tax or after post-tax. So it depends on the benefit. Medical, dental, vision, and hearing are all pre-tax, as well as 401ks, retirement funds. So a whole bunch of extras. Every corporation and company is different in what they'll offer you in terms of voluntary benefits, okay? So flexible work arrangements. Do you have to be there a certain time? Is it 8:30 to 5? Can you flex those times? Can you come in 9 to 6, 7 to 3? You know, how do you want to work? That's a question for employers when you're looking at jobs. If they're very rigid, no, you need to be here at 9 to 5. That's it, we don't change. You'll have to think about that, where other companies may offer you some leeway there. They may offer you compressed work weeks, which you could work 10-hour days for 4 days instead of 5 days. Something to think about if you want to do that, okay? So there's a lot of different options. Do they offer any childcare assistance? Thinking about the future. Are there grants or subsidiaries you can apply for through the company? Do they have an on-site daycare? Some do, some don't. Cornell has an on-site daycare, we don't. But do they offer a wellness program? Does it cost you anything to be part of the wellness program? We offer a wellness program here at the college. It costs employees nothing. We give them a whole bunch of resources at no cost to them. Do they give you a gym membership maybe? Is that part of their wellness program at no cost? That's another fee. So if you're not paying $100 a year, that's great for you guys, right? Business equipment and business travel insurance. Are you traveling a lot for your company? Are they covering you under that travel? Do you get a company car to travel, or do you have to use your own car? Are you getting a laptop to go places? Are you getting a cell phone? Are they paying for that cell phone? A lot of things to consider. Transportation options. Are they a sustainable company and offer you maybe a bus pass if they're in the city, or a subway card to ride the subway, a train, a metro thing, all that fun stuff? Do they offer moving or relocation costs? So if you're looking at going across country, will they help you pay for things that are related to moving? Will they help you find an apartment? Will they help you buy a house? Things like that. Community or yes.
Are usually benefits something you can negotiate for, or it's set? You get what
As the
you-
cost of benefits, or
I guess you know how you can negotiate like salary,
Uh-huh.
like can you negotiate benefits?
you could probably negotiate vacation time and paid time away in terms of medical health insurance. More than likely not. There's set stipulations on how they run those plans. Each corporation is different, but you could negotiate a lot of these fringe benefits as long as well as paid time away. I mean, if you have a couple offers and one's offering you more vacation, but the other one pays better, you could say, you know what, I do have another job offer that has, 3 extra days of vacation. Is that something you could add on? You could definitely ask that. If they say no, no, but if they say yes, that's a great thing. So community organizations, do they help out in the community? Do they want you to help out in the community? Do they offer time off to do community service or volunteer work? Those are extra things that you want to think about as well. Professional associations, are they going to pay for your licensing if you want to become a CPA or an engineer or anything else, right? If there's a membership that you want to be a part of, an organization, I'm part of SHRM, so the Society of Human Resource Management. The college pays my membership for that because it's important for us to keep up on things in HR, right? So you want to look for that as well. Tuition reimbursement. Obviously, you guys we were talking about that earlier. You all want to go for your master's. Are they going to offer you money back towards that? How long do you have to wait until you're eligible for tuition reimbursement? Do they pay on a semester? Do they pay only if you pass the class? Do they pay only if you get a A in the class? The corporation I worked for before, you had to get a B+ in order to have the money reimbursed to you. If you failed it, we weren't going to pay you. Things like that. Do they only offer tuition reimbursement if you're going for classes related to your job? Or can you go for anything? Those are all questions to ask for that. Okay? Professional development. Do they offer workshops and other sorts of opportunities for you to grow professionally? Those are great resources for you to continue to move your career where you want it to go. Okay? Good? I think that might be. So this is a little bit of what I was talking about. So if you're making $40,000, the health insurance on the one side, the employer gives you $57,000 or $5,700, $300 towards dental, and $4,000 into your retirement. So your actual compensation is $50,000, right? Whereas employer B only gives you $2,000, $200, and $5,000. So your actual compensation is $47,000, right? The other things to factor into here are how much vacation each company is giving you. If one company gives you 3 weeks or 2 weeks, what's more important to you? The vacation, the 401(b), the retirement, the health insurance costs, or life insurance? You have to think of what's important for you and make sure that's a fair compensation. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, you have a question?
When you're getting a benefits package, say you get a job offer, what does it look like when they give it to you? Because obviously they're going to say, like, we cover 75% of whatever. So do you have to do these calculations yourself? Or
Yes,
okay.
you will have to do these calculations yourself. So a lot of times they'll just tell you what you pay.
Okay.
Many of them won't give you the total cost of the benefits in general. So it's a good question to ask, what is the amount that you're covering? So they'll tell you that health insurance, HMO, number one option, you would pay an annual premium of $2,000, right? But that doesn't mean that's the total cost. So if they're telling you you owe $2,000 for health insurance, but it's only an $8,000 plan, that's $6,000 worth of payment to you, essentially. If it's a $20,000 plan, that's obviously a lot more coverage that they're affording you. So you would have to figure that out. A lot of employers will not tell you what the cost is up front of what they're paying. They'll just tell you your cost. Okay, so it's a good question to ask. Of this $2,000, or this is my rate, the $2,000, but what are you paying? Right? What's that total cost of the benefits for them? Because that'll factor in.
And that's an appropriate question to ask.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, a lot of them are 75-25. Some are different. Some only pay 50%, 20%. It all depends. Some pay 100%. So if you work for like the state, you're gonna pay very minimum. Any state, county jobs.
Is there anywhere where you can look to kind of find out what sorts of benefit the company usually offers, or does that only come in the job, like, position when you're offered it?
No, a lot of corporations will put them on their website, what they're offering you. They won't tell you costs, essentially, but they will, if they're public, they may have costs on there, but at least they'll tell you what they have to offer you. So a lot of them will list if they have a retirement, if they've got all the fringe benefits, what types of fringe benefits they offer. And it's a good place to start. If you're looking at all these printed out off the website, and when you go for an interview or when you get a salary job offer, go down that list and say, can you explain this to me? Can you explain this to me? How about this? What's entailed in here? Yeah.
So you think like on the interview, like, to ask this sort of question?
You could ask this in the interview if you want to. Learn more about the company, see what they do, how do they value their employees, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Something that I've been running into is some applications ask for what you expect a starting salary to be.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the deal with that? Should we just research like positions and see what we can find, or should you go humble or big? What do you think?
Either way, so you definitely do your research. You know, there's salary.com. There's a whole bunch of things that'll tell you about the proximity of a job in certain areas. It's a good thing to know what you're worth to go in there. I always recommend putting a salary range in.
Okay.
So not necessarily that you want $44,000, but maybe you want 42 to 55-ish. Because they may have, everybody runs off a range. So there's pay ranges for every position in every corporation and every job. So they have a range of admin assistants can make X to X. And so they'll, based on your experience in your professional and your education, they'll put you in that range. They'll also look at the folks that they have on staff already, see where they fall in that range, how you compare in terms of qualifications to them. Do you have a certification and they don't, and they make 15, so maybe you make 15.25, things like that. So I always recommend a range, yeah, instead of a set thing. They'll also ask you, you know, what was your previous pay, things like that, so a lot of that. But most of them already have that set range, so somewhere you'll fall into there. And when you do get a salary offer, a job offer, it's got a salary, you could accept it, or you could say, let me think about it. It's a better option to say, let me think about it. I need some more information. Are you willing to go up in the salary? So, and fight for what you want. If you have a certification, if you say, no, you know, I've had this experience doing this going forward, I think I'm worth more. You know, be nice about it, but it can never hurt to ask for more money by any means, just like more vacation. They're either going to tell you no, but they still offered you the job, so they want you, right? So get what you want out of it too. Your value is important. Employees are the most valuable asset of any corporation or company. They're not going to run without you, right? So know that you're worth something and understand what that is and go for it. It's a good question. Yeah, I think that's what I was just going to go. Do your research, think about your offer, know the total compensation, is it negotiable, right? We just kind of talked about all those things. So I'm pretty sure that's about all I have on this. Do you guys have other questions for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know how you intern and then you get an offer?
Uh-huh.
An offer usually comes with your salary.
Yes.
But this is benefits and all.
Correct.
So when is the appropriate time to?
Before you accept an offer.
Okay.
So when they mail you out an offer, well, first of all, they'll call you, right? They'll say, we're offering you this job. Congratulations, we're gonna pay you this amount of money, right? Great, thank you very much. Can you tell me more about what comes in the total compensation package? Are you offering me benefits? Things like that. Can you mail me all the information? They do have to mail you an offer, a letter that has everything in writing. They should be mailing you information about the benefits as well. If they don't, you need to ask for them. It's an important step in determining your total compensation. So, yeah, so before you accept a salary or a job offer, you need to get all that information down. And if they're not willing to give it to you, that says a lot about a company. And it may not be their best fit for you, right? Yeah?
Does it require mirror image acceptance?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay.
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
Yeah, in common law, if you get an offer for something and it's in writing, you have to have the same form received. So if you received an email in writing, you'd have to send an email in writing to confirm it.
Some will and some won't. Yeah, it'll depend on. So I know these terms, I just didn't know what you meant. Some will and some won't. Most of them will send you a letter that will require your signature. If they send you an email when you get there on the first day, they'll still have you sign something. Most employees or employers will have you sign your offer. So they may, if it's a smaller corporation, they may print out that email and sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would have to be in writing.
Hmm?
It would have to be in writing anyway.
Right. It should be in writing. If they're not willing to give you an offer in writing,
Yeah.
something's up. That would trigger red flags to me. That if they're only gonna verbally offer you something, but they're not gonna send you anything, that would be interesting in my book. Yeah.
Does it make more sense after, like, you negotiate about your salary or your compensation after you got the offer, after you get the offer, instead of during the interview?
Yes, you don't want to negotiate any salary information during an interview.
What if they ask you?
So you can tell them what the range you want is to be during an interview, and they'll probably leave it at that. Unless they're prepared to offer you something at the interview, you probably wouldn't want to negotiate that. You would want to know what they're going to give you first before you go from there. Yeah. Any other questions? No? All right, I think that's all I have for you, so we're done.